So here's a good example. This is our typical home page. So site, space, temperature, control, status. So this is a whole city block downtown.
Right.
It's about 7 buildings, 3 JACEs all tied into one supervisor, several hundred VAV controllers, 20 air handlers, chiller plant. So out of the whole site, our worst set point deviation is 1.7 degrees, and we tell you exactly which zone it's coming.
Control Talk. This is your host, Eric Stromquist, and today we're in the field at one of the best systems integrators in the country, a company called System Tech Services out of Orlando, Florida. And we're real fortunate today. We're talking to one of the lead controls guys at System Tech, Brad Hodgkins. And Brad, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And I guess just right out of the bat, Brad, tell me about System Tech Services. How did the company get started, and sort of what's the philosophy of the company?
The company was started about 10 years ago by Robert Tao, and he started it strictly to be a service and retrofit company, and that's what we do. We go into existing buildings and we upgrade the equipment and the controls. We're a full service mechanical and controls company.
Fantastic. So the controls part of it, that's pretty much where you're involved,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about retrofit controls. Why would somebody retrofit a control system?
Now that we have the Tridium platform, we can go into an existing building and we don't have to change every single VAV controller. We can reuse a lot of those end devices. We just overlay the Tridium supervisory controllers, so it cuts the cost way down, but it still gives us all the benefits of a modern system.
Brad, talk to me a bit, if you will, about Tridium. I mean, what is Tridium and why should people care?
Tridium is mainly a software developer, but they make embedded platform web servers. But their platform, what it did is it revolutionized the building automation industry, because legacy, open protocol, it doesn't matter. They normalize all these networks and bring it up to their platform, so the owner doesn't care if it's LAN, BACnet, into train, it doesn't matter.
Right.
To them, it's just a point bringing them data. Temperature, on, off, that's all they care about, and it does a brilliant job of it.
Right. And so what that basically means is that they have choice, right? So in other words, if they're not happy with a particular VAV controller,
Correct.
It's very easy to change that out and use best of breed controllers.
Definitely.
And then the other thing is, if they're not really happy with a contractor, I mean, I guess this is where you guys make most of your money.
Definitely.
Another contractor can come in and can step right in, and he's not locked out because he has access to the best products and also the best contractors.
Right.
So you guys have kind of a unique saying, part of your philosophy. Tell me what it is. And tell our viewers what your philosophy is.
We fix low bid. We go into existing buildings and they're not happy with their system. You know, they went in for low bid when the original install and it just doesn't perform. So we go in and we overlay a Tridium front end on it and we make it what it was originally designed to do. And they pay twice, but you know that's what they have to do sometimes.
At least they get it right the second time.
Yes, they definitely do. And then they start getting some true energy savings. You know, building automation and energy management are not synonymous. Just because you have a building automation system does not mean you have an energy management system. Energy management is the optimization of a building automation system. It's the proper use and implementation of it. The automation system is just a tool that you can use to get energy management if it's done properly.
You know, you're hiring an architect, you're hiring an engineer to oversee these systems.
Right.
And those guys, I think a lot of times, you know, don't disrespect to the engineers, they sort of get locked into the mode of, hey, this has worked for the last 50 years, why should we change it?
Right.
So typically what can happen is low bid is not necessarily the best value for an owner, right?
Definitely not.
And your whole philosophy is fixing that. If you had some advice for an owner, if they're getting ready to do a building, what would it be in terms of the process?
If they're selecting a controls contractor, I would want to see their last 10 jobs. And you know, you're test driving that system because you can't tell just by the price what they're going to get. And usually it's a year later before they realize they're unhappy with what they paid for.
Right. And then I think the advantage to open systems as well, and I know we've been out like at a university, I'm sure you see these guys all the time too, where they have like a school, a campus, and they have 10 different systems.
Right.
So your maintenance engineer and your building chief, he's sitting there and he's got to log into this software to talk to his Johnson system, and this software to talk to his Honeywell system, and this software to talk to his KMC system. So, you know, another advantage of this Tridium, it seems like, is what we call single-seated control.
Definitely.
And I think one of the really cool things, and why we're so happy we're shooting here, is I think Brad's going to be able to show you exactly what that means. So if you sort of look around And you can see Brad works on all these different systems, and System Tech does. And so basically, you've got all these systems that are all around,
Yes, sir.
and they're talking with one software platform,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Cool. So that's just got to be huge for those guys because you get one graphics package, one energy, monitoring package,
Right.
and that's all you have to look at. All this other stuff happens behind the scenes through the
Correct.
Tridium.
Correct.
So walk us through, if you would, Brad, and show us. So the brain of this, I guess, is what you call the Tridium Jace up there, right?
Yeah. Right now, just for demonstration, I've got 3 Jaces up here just to kind of expand the network and just make it a little bit more complicated, just to show what we can do. All right, like I said, this board, this is just a demonstration. It's a protocol and different data link demonstration, and it's probably worst case scenario. We've got several different manufacturers, different protocols, and different data links. Here we have a Honeywell Jace, that's the Web 600, and connected to it we've got some Honeywell lawn controllers, a lawn spider, some XL10 lawn controllers, some Train lawn controllers, some Distech lawn controllers, another Distech, a BAPI lawn sensor, and all this is communicating up to that Tridium Jace.
So, Brad, what you're basically telling me is that all these controllers are talking on the same network.
Correct.
So, put in terms of like a campus or something like that, one building's got Distech, another building's got Honeywell, another building's got BAPI, and all these things are communicating and talking.
Correct. Not
How
a problem.
cool is that?
That's the greatest thing. And then just to prove that it's talking, I've got it all connected to this wireless light switch, and we're firing a light on each controller simultaneously. So it's not just smoke and mirrors. We're
How cool
actually
is that?
integrating the stuff.
So what that basically means too is that if you had an owner and he had a particular brand like Train or whatever, and he wasn't happy with them for whatever reason, and Honeywell had a better controller, you could just put the Honeywell one in place of the Train, and you're good to go.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. But it's not just this. You've got other stuff talking on that same network. Right?
Definitely. This is just a little LawnWorks demonstration. So the next section of this integration board, I've got BACnet and Modbus. So here we've got a Johnson Jace. And again, the Johnson Jace, it has a little bit of lawn controllers on it. It has Distech BACnet. It has Delta BACnet. Got Viconics BACnet. And then we also got the BACnet spiders hooked into the Honeywell Jace. I got Easy IO BACnet also. So all this stuff is connected through a few different data links. One thing with BACnet is we got MSTP, we got IP, we got different ways to get it to the network level, but it's all functioning as one network.
Yeah, because one of the common terms we hear in the industry is you hear BACnet, you hear LAN, you hear things like Modbus.
Yes.
Speak, if you will, about for a user or a layman, I mean, what do those mean?
Protocols or languages.
They're just
French,
languages.
German, Italian.
Got you covered. So in other words, you got all these guys, like these controllers are talking BACnet, this one's talking Modbus, these over here are talking LAN, and the thing is System Tech Services can make them all talk together. So it's like you're the United Nations, right?
It doesn't matter. We'll make it work. So again, all this is networked together, several data links, several protocols, all connected through Tridium. So just something simple as a light switch, but it proves the integration is functioning. This is just another part of the demonstration, integration demonstration. We've got another Jace, and again, we're talking to some LawnWorks and some BACnet controllers, but we're also talking to some legacy protocols. We've got Johnson N2, and we've got Train, COM3, and COM4. So these are 3 legacy protocols that we can integrate into the Tridium system. And just, again, we don't have to change out every controller. We're just going to overlay the Tridium system on the existing buildings' automation systems.
And when you say legacy, you're basically just meaning like one of those proprietary protocols that's been around forever, right?
Correct. Definitely.
And so when you think about the marketplace and your customer base, I mean, there's just thousands of these legacy things out there. I know in Georgia, for example, that Johnson N2 bus, I mean, there's so many buildings with old Johnson N2 stuff, and so many buildings with Train, COM3. And I think the beauty of this is that you don't have to get rid of this stuff. You can come in, and you're going to show us the graphics in a minute.
Yes, sir.
But I think the beauty of this is that now you can take existing controls and you can get state-of-the-art energy management and front-end strategies and use what you've already got, which is just huge.
Definitely.
And you guys sort of specialize in that, don't you? Where you kind of come in and...
That's what we do. That's 95% of our work is going into existing building and overlaying a Tridium system, adding to it. Some of these controllers are obsolete, not available.
Yeah.
So then it just gives us a path. Now, instead of having to rip out everything. We can talk to what's there and functioning, but then it gives us a migration path for the future, whether it be BACnet or LON.
And so that really speaks to, I think, the difference between a systems integrator and just a controls contractor, right? I mean, controls contractors are just going to come in and if they can get you a replacement Metasys board, they're going to put that in. But an integrator, you're really able to look at what they have, and you guys obviously keep up with the state-of-the-art technology, and you're able to give these guys best-of-breed controls, use what they have, so you give them the best cost solution, and just integrate them together. Hence, systems integrator, right?
Yes, sir.
And you guys are also able to put in like lighting controls and access and security and things like that.
Definitely.
So cool. So Brad, one of the really cool things, we talked about single-seated control. In other words, the ability to pull multiple systems in and have one software package talking. So show us how that looks, if you would.
All right.
If you need to control it or measure it, Stromquist & Company has a control solution for you. With over $2 million of inventory between our Georgia and Florida locations, an easy-to-use online ordering platform, same-day shipping, and a factory-trained team of controls experts to answer your questions, Stromquist & Company continues in its tradition of offering great service and great products.